Now, have you ever been on a team where meetings happen nonstop? Everyone says we're aligned. The Slack messages look friendly, but somehow nothing gets done. The energy feels off, and you can tell there's a silent problem nobody wants to name. If that's you, this is gonna be for you. Because I wanna connect with leaders, the operators, and the team players who are tired of fake harmony and are ready for real results. Welcome to me reading books so you don't have to, if you so choose. Today we're reviewing The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. And I'm telling you up front, this book is not a fluffy leadership book. It's a mirror, a diagnosis, and a playbook. It explains why smart teams fail and why talented companies stall. Also, why your team problem is almost never what you think. And if you run a business, manage people, build partnerships, or you're trying to scale anything, this book is one of the clearest frameworks you'll ever get for turning a group of individuals into a real team. Now, the reason this book hits so hard is because it tells the truth most people avoid. Teams don't fail because people aren't skilled. Teams fail because of behavior, because of fear, because of ego, because of avoidance, also because of lack of clarity. Unless he only breaks it down into 5 layers that stack on top of each other like a pyramid. Meaning, if you don't fix the bottom, you will never fix the top. You can have the best strategy in the world, the best marketing in the world, the best talent in the world, and then still lose if your team is dysfunctional. Now, here are the 5 dysfunctions, and I'm going to walk through them in a way that's going to make you recognize your own team, your past teams, and maybe even yourself. Because this book doesn't let you point fingers without looking in the mirror. Dysfunction number 1 is the foundation, and that's the absence of trust. And Lencioni is not talking about trust like I trust that you won't steal. He's talking about vulnerability-based trust, the kind of trust where people feel safe admitting mistakes, asking for help and saying, I don't know, and also being real without the fear of being punished or embarrassed. Because when a team doesn't have that kind of trust, everybody starts wearing a mask. Everyone starts performing, and people, they're gonna start holding back. They protect their image and they play politics. And the moment people are protecting themselves, the team starts moving as one unit. It turns into a room full of individuals managing perception instead of building outcomes. And I've seen this in real life across businesses, corporate environments, and entrepreneurship. Because when people don't feel safe, they don't tell the truth early. They wait. They sugarcoat and they give you half information. And the problems don't get solved when they're small. They explode when they're expensive. Absence of trust, it creates a culture where people would rather look good than do good. And if you ever had a teammate who always says everything's fine, but you can feel it's not, that's why. They don't trust the environment enough to be honest. Now, dysfunction number 2, that's fear of conflict. And this one is sneaky because a lot of teams, they think they're healthy because they don't argue. They're polite, they're professional, they keep meetings calm. But Lencioni says when there's no trust, conflict becomes dangerous, so teams avoid it. They choose artificial harmony over real debate. They talk around the issue, they hold side conversations, they vent privately, they smile publicly. And what happens is the most important topics, strategy, priorities, performance, accountability, they never get the honest friction they need to become clear. Let me say this clearly. Productive conflict is not drama. Productive conflict is clarity. It's commitment. It's the difference between a team that debates ideas and a team that tiptoes around ego. Healthy teams fight about the work. Unhealthy teams avoid the fight. And then they let the resentment quietly poison everything. If you ever walked out of a meeting thinking, we agreed, and then 2 days later you realize nobody actually agreed, this is fear of conflict at work. Now, dysfunction number 3 is what happens next, which is lack of commitment. And this is where teams get stuck in the worst place, and that's ambiguity. They leave meetings with maybe, we'll see, let's revisit, we'll circle back. And everyone has a different interpretation of what was decided. Lencioni says commitment doesn't require consensus. It requires clarity and buy-in. People don't need to fully agree. They need to fully commit. But you can't commit when you haven't had a real debate and you haven't named the trade-offs and you haven't made a clear call. This is one of the biggest silent killers in business. Teams move slowly, not because people are lazy, but because no one is truly committed, because the decision was never truly made. There's no rallying point. There's no this is the plan. So people hedge. They keep options open, they drag their feet. And when you ask why execution is weak, it's because commitment was never locked. Now, dysfunction number 4 is where it gets real. This is the dysfunction that turns good vibes teams into underperforming teams. Because when there's a lack of a commitment, people don't feel responsible for outcomes. And when accountability is missing, you start seeing behaviors like missed deadlines, low standards, vague ownership, and leaders becoming the only ones who enforce anything. And I want to say something that's going to resonate with a lot of entrepreneurs. This is why so many business owners feel like they have to micromanage. It's not because they're controlling. It's because accountability isn't built into the culture. So the owner becomes the accountability system. And that's exhausting. Lencioni's point is that the best teams hold each other accountable peer to peer, not just top down. Because when only the boss enforces standards, everyone else learns it's not my job to challenge performance. But when peers hold peers accountable, the standard becomes the standard. And here's the thing, accountability doesn't mean being rude. It means being clear. It means saying, hey, you say you would do that, what happened? And it means protecting the mission more than protecting the comfort. Now, dysfunction number 5 is the top of the pyramid, inattention to results. This is where everything collapses in politics. Lencioni says when the team is dysfunctional, people start prioritizing their own status, their own department, their own comfort, their own ego, or their own personal wins over the collective results. And that's when you get teams that look busy but don't win. They have lots of activity, lots of meetings, lots of talk, but the scoreboard doesn't move because the goal became looking good instead of getting good results. And this one hits hard because it shows that results aren't just a strategy issue. Results are a culture issue. If the team doesn't have trust, conflict, commitment, and accountability, they will naturally drift towards self-preservation. And self-preservation is the enemy of results. Now let me connect this to real life and why this book mattered, especially if you're building a business and scaling a team. In my world, I'm building systems, hiring VAs, managing operations, building workflows, and driving growth. Things only scale when the team is healthy. You can have the best tools, the best CRMs, the best automation, even something like Go High Level, running your pipeline. But if your internal communication is broken, you'll still lose because tools amplify culture. If your team avoids conflict, the tools doesn't fix it. If your team doesn't trust each other, the pipeline won't save you. And if your team lacks accountability, the automation will still stall. So what this book gives you is the human operating system that makes all of the tools actually work. So here's how you apply this framework immediately. First, build vulnerability-based trust. Leaders go first. You model admitting mistakes. You model asking for help. You create an environment where people can tell the truth early without fear. Second, normalize productive conflict. Make it safe to disagree. Reward truth, not silence. Third, force clarity and commitment. End meetings with clear decisions, clear owners, clear deadlines. Fourth, build peer accountability. Create scorecards, set standards. Encourage the team to challenge respectfully. And fifth, obsess over results. Make the scoreboard visible. Celebrate team wins, not individual politics. Now let's be honest. Some people don't like this book because it's too direct. It exposes the truth that many teams are dysfunctional because leaders, they tolerate dysfunction. It also forces you to confront your own role. Because if you're the leader and the team can't speak honestly, that's on you. If the team avoids conflict, that's on you. If there's no clarity, well, that's on you. But that's why it's powerful, because it gives you the leverage point. It shows you where to fix it. So who is this book for? If you lead a team, you need it. If you're building a company, you need it. If you manage partnerships, departments, projects, or even family businesses, this book helps. And if you ever said, my team is talented but execution is weak, this book is your diagnosis. And here's the biggest takeaway I want you to walk away with. The one truth that sums it all up. A team doesn't become high performing by adding smarter people. No. It becomes higher performing by removing the behaviors that block truth, clarity, and accountability. That's what the 5 dysfunctions of a team gives you, a framework to remove the hidden friction that slows everything down. So the final verdict is this. This book is a must read because it makes team problems simple without making them easy. It gives you the structure to fix what most teams ignore. And if you want more reviews like this, where I read more books so you don't have to, if you choose, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because next time I'm going to break down another book that's going to help you build not just a better business, but a better machine of people who can actually execute the vision.